have to realize how close he came to death.
A plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
Second-year quarterback from the University of Michigan.
Sometimes innocuous and seemingly insignificant moments can change the course of everything. That's a really dramatic way to start talking about a football game, but this game is a great example of that fact. A Week 2 matchup between the New England Patriots and the New York Jets literally changed the course of the NFL for the next 2 decades.
The success of this team is going to have to be on the right arm of Drew Bledsoe.
In March of 2001, the Patriots locked down their former #1 overall pick and face of the franchise, quarterback Drew Bledsoe, with a mammoth 10-year, $103 million contract. And Bledsoe was deserving of that large payout.
We're going to the big game. Now we get a shot at the championship, so we're very happy about that.
Since being drafted by the Patriots #1 overall in 1993, Bledsoe had appeared in 3 Pro Bowls, led the NFL in passing yards in 1994, and came up just short of delivering the Patriots their first championship in Super Bowl 31. Calling the signals on the other side of the ball was another former #1 overall pick, 37-year-old Vinny Testaverde. This was the 52nd time 2 #1 picks at quarterback had faced off, and the 9th matchup between the 1987 pick and the 1993 pick. The matchup of #1 overall picks isn't the only thing that made this game notable.
We have unconfirmed reports this morning that a plane has crashed into one of the towers of the World Trade Center.
It is impossible to talk about this game without acknowledging the tragedy of 9/11. Taking place on September 23, 2001, this was the first time NFL teams had taken the field after the attacks 12 days earlier. The players wore Twin Tower stickers on their helmets, and Jets coaches on the sideline sported hats paying tribute to their hometown first responders.
I can hear you!
The cloud of 9/11 hung over this game as the world found itself indelibly changed, and within the next 3 hours, the NFL would also find itself indelibly changed.
And back to work they go.
Of these 2 teams, the Jets seemed to have the better outlook going into the 2001 season. They were coming off a 9-7 season, which saw them sport a top 10 defense led by team captain Mo Lewis.
Hit hard Mark Edwards by Mo Lewis.
The Patriots were coming off of a disappointing 5-11 season with first-year head coach Bill Belichick, and didn't have a ton going for them offensively.
It's all Drew Bledsoe offensively, unfortunately.
An 0-2 start for either of these teams would have been less than ideal.
Tough pill to swallow to open any season 0-2.
On their first drive, though, the seemingly anemic Bledsoe-led Patriots offense was able to work themselves deep into Jets territory, only to settle for a Vinatieri field goal to make it 3-0 Patriots. The teams would punt the ball back and forth until with 6.5 minutes left in the first half, the Patriots seemed to have something going. The drive would end on a Bledsoe interception, though, setting the Jets up with the ball deep in their own territory. 3 minutes later, Lavernius Coles makes one of the best catches you'll ever see. But it was called back because of a chop block by Jets star running back and future Hall of Famer Curtis Martin. Martin was a former Patriot who later in this game would become the 16th running back in NFL history to eclipse 10,000 rushing yards. With the first half winding down and the score still 3-0 Pats, Vinny Testaverde would drop back and have the ball knocked to the ground. The play was ruled a fumble, but after a lengthy review, it was overturned and ruled an incompletion. A few months later, a similar play would take place on the same field.
Lost the football. It's on the ground, covered by the Raiders.
After the fortuitous review, the Jets capitalized with a field goal as time expired.
So first half comes to an end. 2 short field goals, the only connections.
The Pats got the ball to start the second half and had a promising drive going until a Mark Andrews fumble inside the Jets' 10 ended their drive. The Jets took advantage of the miscue and capped off a 12-play drive with a Curtis Martin touchdown to take the lead 10-3.
Martin, touchdown New York!
But after a series of punts, the Patriots would get the ball back, still only down a touchdown, and immediately strike with a big play.
And he's going long this time for Brown. He stayed in bounds all the way to the 10-yard line.
Troy Brown beat Marcus Coleman to get free and make a catch near the sideline, then stayed in bounds and ran the ball all the way down to the Jets' 10-yard line. But a couple plays later,
7 from the 9, Bledsoe intercepted in the end zone by Ferrier.
Ferrier would take the ball nearly to midfield, but the Jets, as was the case most of the night, couldn't get anything going offensively and had to punt it back to the Patriots. With 5:45 left in the game, Bledsoe took the field hoping to lead his team to a game-tying touchdown. On 2nd and 10, Bledsoe dropped back and completed a pass to Bert Emanuel for a first down, or at least it looked like he completed it. A different angle clearly showed that Emmanuel didn't hold on to the ball and it made contact with the ground, making it a pretty easy call to overturn. This right here is one of those innocuous moments that ended up changing the course of everything.
The ball hit the ground. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be third down.
If Emmanuel holds on, the Patriots have a 1st and 10 and the drive continues as normal. Bledsoe drops back in the pocket, maybe doesn't see any open receivers, and just throws it away. But instead, it's 3rd and 10. The Patriots are trying to avoid falling to 0-2. Bledsoe drops back, the entire offense riding on his right arm. He rolls right, he tucks the ball to run, trying to gain enough yards to extend the drive.
Gonna run it. Needs 10 yards. Oh, does he hit?
It would take Bledsoe a few minutes, but he would eventually get up and make his way to the bench, upright but shaken up. The Patriots would punt, then force a 3-and-out to get the ball back, and shockingly, Drew Bledsoe re-entered the game.
So Bledsoe only 38 yards away from a tying touchdown as he comes back on the field.
And I think the crowd kind of yelling Drew in appreciation of the toughness that year in and year out has been demonstrated by Drew Bledsoe.
What Bledsoe and the Patriots didn't know at the time is that Bledsoe had sustained a sheared blood vessel in his chest and had begun bleeding internally.
Really, my insides didn't hurt until after the game, but then they started to hurt pretty bad.
But here he is, on the field, trying to lead the Patriots back. But Mark Edwards' second fumble would give the ball back to the Jets, who would punt it right back to the Patriots with 2:26 remaining in the game. When the Patriots offense took the field this time, it wasn't number 11 at the center of the huddle, it was number 12.
And Drew Bledsoe is on the sideline.
Tom Brady, the second-year quarterback from the University of Michigan.
Brady would put together a decent drive and nearly bring the Patriots back.
Brady. Complete. There you go.
But ultimately fell short.
He'll crank it up and throw it into the end zone. Incomplete down at the 2-yard line. And that's it. Herman Edwards has his first National Football League win as a head coach.
Bledsoe would go to the hospital where his internal bleeding would be discovered and his life would be preserved.
A very lucky guy that he's alive.
However, he would be out indefinitely with this very serious injury, forcing Brady into the starting role. Brady would lead the Patriots to the Super Bowl with some help from Bledsoe in the AFC Championship game. Reminiscent of his first game relieving Bledsoe against the Jets, Brady got the ball back in the Super Bowl with 1:21 remaining. He led a very similar final drive, only needing a field goal this time instead of a touchdown.
I'll tell you what Tom Brady just did gives me goosebumps.
As time expired, Vinatieri delivered.
Adam Vinatieri. No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36.
The following offseason, Bledsoe would be traded to the Bills and play his first game as a Bill, ironically, against Vinny Testaverde's Jets. After a brief stint with the Bills, Bledsoe would finish his career with the Cowboys. Tom Brady has gone on to lead the Patriots to enough Super Bowl rings to fit on 2 hands. Mo Lewis, the Jet that laid the hit, would retire as a Jet 2 years later. He finished his career with 1,227 tackles, 24th all time. But this particular tackle, in the wake of a national tragedy, changed the NFL forever.